Hi everyone, welcome to the 2020 contract review. If you recall, at the beginning of 2019 we made a few tweaks to contracts. This year is no different. What I'm going to try and do is take you through some slides which just shows you the tweaks to the contract, but in particular how you get from one to the other, so the promotion piece. So if you recall, last year we put in 4 platforms: Gold, Platinum, Emerald, Diamond. Each got their own parameters, and how you moved from one to the other, there was a defined process. If we had a look at the changes to promotion in 2019, these were the parameters that were hopefully measured, and essentially the next slides are going to show you the little red bits, which is just a focus on what has changed. So the first one to note is protection ratio to completions, 50% based on case count as opposed to 75. And the reason we've lowered it is not that protection is any less important, far from it. It's because if we'd have actually stuck to the rules, nobody would have been promoted. And so, that seemed a bit pointless to us. If it's got to be meaningful, then it's got to be meaningful. So essentially we've dropped that, because that hopefully gives you some incentive to move through the gears. The minimum production levels have changed. So we came in at 40k, but only from year 2 for some. From 2020, it's year 1 20k, year 2 40k. There is the recovery contract, and we haven't mentioned that because actually I see that as a negative. Nobody should be on it. It's for underperformance. But the recovery contract is at manager's discretion. So what that means is, if there's a reason for it to look like it needs to come into play, we'll offer rationale as to why, or we'll take into account everything that perhaps is going wrong with whatever you're doing, be that personal life or otherwise, and we'll make some sense of it. So it's discretionary. Production means banked income, not written. Yeah. So to move through the gears, people say, "Well, I've written 60 grand. Can I move up? Can I move up a notch?" And the answer to that is, well, actually, production means banked income, not written. So it's not the written you need to focus on; it's banked income that you need to focus on. So just to enlighten you as to what banked income is. Sample case we've chosen is a 20-year Aviva indemnity, annual premium of 1,000, gross income payable to Quilter of 2,805. Because we're an AR to Quilter, there's a retention in place. So physically 2,525 or 2,524.5, sorry. And the monthly advisor network fee, probably a really poor example because in this instance we're just showing a policy in isolation, but actually that monthly advisor network fee will only apply once, irrespective of how many policies or cases you've got in the pipe. So your banked income becomes 22.75 in this, because it's after the deduction of Quilter's network, retention, and after the deduction of monthly advisor fee. Tier 2 in 2019 looked like this. The thing to spot is the bottom piece there that's changed. Promotion effective from achievement and was reassessed January and July. Going forward from 2020, it's effective from achievement and for the remainder of the year and the following year. So let me be clear. If we were now, let's say next month you qualify, you would move up to the new contract and you'd stay there for the remainder of that year and the following year. So the first review would be January 2022. So assessments are now made every January. However, management discretion may apply. So the reality of that is, if you moved up through the gears, got to your next contract, and then really motored and got onto your next contract, we wouldn't hold you to it until January 2022. We'd have a look at, the reason for the acceleration, and of course, as an incentive, we'll look at the situation and decide what we do then. Similarly, if you fall off on performance, then the recovery contract may come into play, and we'll use discretion at that point. The next slide talks about security and profit, and security and profit, what do I mean by that? If you've already watched Roger's previous one about our results up to 2020, he also talked about our business model in there and the fact that we need to get closer to a 10 to 14% margin. And so we're working very hard on that because it's really important that, you know, to achieve our aspirations of a capital event, certain things need to come into play. So the first thing here you'll notice is an SEO and pay-per-click managed website. So essentially the website we launched in December, we've done some testing over the last month or so with regard to SEO and Google Ads, and we've actually ended up with some leads. How strange is that? The purpose of the change to the website is to become self-sufficient when it comes to lead generation, and so rather than buy leads in, we want to organically grow what we do and become a household name. To do that, you have to apply certain measures and certain tactics, and we're doing that. Roger and I had a meeting with the developers on the 16th of January, and we've committed to landing pages of somewhere in between 30 to 50, and they're going to be geographically placed. Geographic because whilst we may have a population of advisors that are across the UK, it is pocketed, and there are some places where we're not visible. If we're going to subscribe to face-to-face, if a client requests that, we should comply with it, and if the client's 250 miles away from the nearest advisor, then that's not going to go down too well. So geographic placement of landing pages is more about doing things where we've got advisors and generating business where we've got advisors on the ground. Geographic, the landing pages are also going to be generic, so genre, business genre. Some of those are later life lending, some of those will be holiday lets, focusing on some real business that will generate real inquiries. Later life, because we talked about Bank of Mum and Dad, we talk about hypothecated funds. If you're doing Barclays Springboard, it leads on to first time buyer pieces. It's a really good marketplace to be in, and one inquiry could generate multiple leads, multiple bits of business. That's where we need to be, and we'll be hot topicing and following the market really with regards to where we need to be, but you know, ski off pace when we think it's viable, a bit like holiday lets. I personally believe it's a next big market, and there are many other people that subscribe to that school of thought. The other piece is prop fees. So in amongst trying to build up the margin that we need, generically, if we've given you a CDMB generated lead, we said to you, convert that, we'll ask you for 60 quid. If you don't convert it, we'll ask you for nothing. Nothing's changed, except that we've never charged you the £60. And from 2017 to date, these leads have been payable at your normal contracted rate. But going forward, if we need to be where we need to be, and we've put in a lot of investment into our business, then the prop fee piece is going to have to change. So if it's a CDMB generated lead and you convert it, we'll only be paying 50% of the proc, but you'll only pay it on the leads you convert still. Your broker fee will be paid at normal contracted rates, as will your protection and all the other ancillary peripheral income. Just the prop fee, because we need to make a difference. Enhancement to peripheral income. Always strive to give you the best ability to make money. Peripheral income, in this instance I'm talking about eConveyancer. They are our preferred partner when it comes to the conveyancing piece. On their platform you can also produce instructions and quotes for specialist products with regards to surveys. So they might be damp, timber, all of those kind of things, structural engineers report. You get paid for every instruction that results in business. Also, we've just launched with them with regards to will instructions. So a really good thing, in my opinion, because why should you ever leave a client unprotected? Yeah, and a will is exactly doing that. If they haven't got one in place, they should have. £103 for a single will is available via eConveyancer platform, or £133, I think, was the quote I generated for a mirror will, and you get paid You get paid £20 per referral. Well worth doing. Dedicated RM support. For me, dedicated RM support is essential because you need a mentor. Sometimes when you come into this business cold and brand new, you need someone to feed off. We've got 4 very good regional managers. They're there to help you along your way, add value to your business, however it must be. They don't do it for nothing. We do pay them, but the reality is they're essential because they should be driving our business forward and certainly assisting you guys, which just generates more business. Knowledge Bank. I'm amazed sometimes that people tell me I didn't know I had access to it. Well, let me tell you, you have. Everybody within charlesderbymb.com has, Network doesn't. But essentially, you go to their logon page, you use your charlesderbymb.com email address, and your password is CHANGEME, all one word, all lowercase, unless you've previously logged on and changed it. If you've never been on it, get on it. What a great piece of kit this is. It's a criteria sourcing tool. If you do your normal product sourcing tool via, I don't know, Trigold, Mortgage Brain, whatever you're using at the time, the reality is that just produces a long list of products. You then need to check the criteria. If you've got a 50-page lender list, the reality of that is you might be wanting number 49, which means you've had to research 48 others. If you do it the other way round and put all the quirks to your case in Knowledge Bank, it will give you an idea of which lenders do it. You then go to your product list and you pick them off. Saves hours. We've physically got away with this for 18 months free of charge, but the sad news is we now have to start paying for it. We have to pass that cost on. It's a whopping great big £10 a month. It's nothing for actually what it does for you. Saves you time, energy, may even enable you to do an extra case a month. But in true CDMB fashion, I'm going to give you an opportunity to pass that payment to me. So the reality is, if we go back to e-conveyancer, if you put in a specialist report and it goes to completion and you get paid, I'll pay that month's Knowledge Bank fee. If you do 12 of them, I'll pay it all year long. Similarly, if you do a will, you will get £20 for that will referral that goes through to completion. Because of that, I will pay your Knowledge Bank. If you do 12, I've paid it all year long. The best route to me paying your Knowledge Bank all year long is to actually do 4 conveyancing instructions to completion. If you do them all in January, I'll pay it for the whole year. If you do it throughout the year, at the point where your 4th one kicks in, I'll pick up the rest of it. Knowledge Bank is really essential in my mind in this day and age when broking. And there's also a future project for us with Nicola Firth, who's the CEO at Knowledge Bank, and I'll tell you more about that another time or when it's closer to fruition. But it's really exciting. Hopefully, you found some value in that. We don't do things on a whim. We do everything for a reason. We believe that's best for you. It's best for us. It's a compromise. If you do all of the things that we ask you to do, we're all on. We're all on for a great year. We need it to be a great year because we need to really get stuck into this capital event. Anyway, thanks for listening. Good luck. And if you need me, you know where I am.